For this current year, we're projecting a deficit of $24.2 billion. That's $16.8 billion higher than we budgeted. The vast majority of the reason for that increased budget deficit is a very, very significant decline in revenue. And it also comprised of a small increase in expenses as well. Revenues will be down $11.5 billion, or 23%. Personal income tax revenue will be down 15%. Corporate income tax revenue will be down approximately 53%. And non-renewable resource revenue will be down over 75%. Expenses will be up by $5.3 billion, largely due to COVID relief, extra funding for our healthcare system, and funding for Alberta's recovery plan. And the reality is balancing the budget will almost certainly need to be necessarily delayed. Now, balancing the budget is very important to Albertans, and it's very important and remains very important to this government. And so again, we will be presenting a fiscal update, three-year fiscal update in November, and again a budget in February of 2021. And that will give us time to work through the continued uncertainty. The reality is right now, we are continuing to deal with an incredible amount of pandemic uncertainty and economic uncertainty. Right now, it would be almost impossible to provide a credible date to balance with the uncertainty that we're dealing with. Balancing does remain very important to our government, and we will be building a plan forward and presenting a date to balance to Albertans in the future. In the meantime, we will be governed by other fiscal anchors, such as net debt to GDP ratios, debt service cost to revenue ratios, and we'll be focusing on those issues and factors that we can manage, such as ensuring that we're delivering the most efficient and cost-effective government possible, and that we're doing everything we can do to encourage economic growth and economic recovery. Relative to the Alberta Pension Plan, the great fiscal challenge and economic challenge that is facing Albertans, I believe, really compels us to take a look at every opportunity to provide economic relief to Albertans. And that's why taking a look at an Alberta Pension Plan makes a lot of sense. We will be doing a deep dive into that issue to understand the benefits, the risks, potential costs, and economic rewards of a potential Alberta Pension Plan. Now, rest assured, the Premier has made it very clear that before a final decision would be made, we would take that decision to Albertans. But again, at a time like this, I believe it's absolutely critical that we look at every opportunity to improve the economic fortunes of Albertans. Right. Our challenging economic results are largely, almost entirely actually, from a reduction in revenue. And that reduction in revenue has come from really reduction in economic activity, a reduction in global energy prices. And so that's why we're putting an inordinate focus on economic recovery and economic growth in this province. Again, in terms of the discussion around revenue structure, income tax structure, that will be an important discussion for Albertans in the future. At this point in time, while we are facing, in fact, in the midst of this great economic challenge, this is not a time to talk about raising taxes. This is a time to deliver government services most efficiently. This is a time to ensure that we're doing everything we can to grow this economy.